Right, welcome. Apparently there's a rumour floating around that Games Workshop and Amazon are, quote, entirely content to let Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40K live-action project die. I'm going to say this is complete false, just as an FYI. I will take a look at this just because I think it's comical. You know, this couldn't be further from the truth, from bits and pieces that I know about this show. So yeah, it's quite interesting, to be honest. This is one of those kind of rumors that doesn't seem to want to die, and I know, like, I've done a video on it, but yeah, since then it's become pretty obvious that Henry Cavill and this show is definitely going ahead. But hey, you know, whatever, let's have a look. So it says, a new rumour claims that Games Workshop and Amazon are entirely content to let Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40k live-action TV or film project die. I wonder. So in Games Workshop's 2024 annual report, the company seemingly confirmed a rumour from YouTuber Arch Warhammer, who claimed in June, quote, right now the agreement in principle between Games Workshop and Amazon appears to be in effect. This means that a team at Amazon, a team of writers, is right now trying to write out a story that is going to be turned into the Warhammer 40k TV show. They have, I believe, a few more months on this deadline for this project, and they have to hand it in, and then it either has to be greenlit or they have to have their writing date further postponed in the hope that they can produce something better further down the line, or the entire project will be shelved. And continued further and says, those are the three opportunities. Either they'll have a project they'll go ahead with, they'll shelve the whole thing, or they will extend the deadline to try and get a decent product going. In other words, nothing is finalised yet. Absolutely nothing. There isn't even any money for the project allocated, as far as my insider can tell on Amazon's behalf. No writing staff has been truly hired, no money has been truly allocated, no plans have been truly made. So there's a little bit more here. Anyway, they say that the annual report says Games Workshop and Amazon are working together for a period of 12 months, ending in December 2024, to agree to creative guidelines for the film and television series to be developed by Amazon. The agreement will only proceed if the creative guidelines are mutually agreed between Games Workshop and Amazon. We'll update you accordingly. So, I mean, it does seemingly confirm that. The report also detailed that if things do go well, Amazon has the right to develop Warhammer Fantasy as well. It says, under the terms of the agreement, Games Workshop has granted exclusive rights to Amazon in relation to films and TV series set within the Warhammer 40k universe, together with an option for Amazon to license equivalent rights in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, following the release of the initial Warhammer 40k production. So what's the update? Well, here's the update. So now Arch has provided an update where he shared, quote, it has been complete radio silence on the matter of the TV show ever since we had the last update the last time around. It appears as if both Amazon and Games Workshop are entirely content to just let the project die, honestly. That's not true. Like, at all. Like, not even remotely true. There have been tables set up, things going ahead, things being discussed, things happening. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Arch, at least on this occasion, doesn't know what he's talking about. Not to be, maybe just been provided false information. I don't know what to tell you. So he added further, even with a 1 month extension into January, nothing seems to have been produced. Still no money is allocated. Still no accounts have been created. Still no contracts have been signed, etc., etc. But this Amazon and Games Workshop are entirely content to let the project die. There's definitely not been radio silence on it. Henry Cavill is working on it. Absolutely. So Arch did provide details on Henry Cavill's role, or what he thinks is Henry Cavill's role anyway. So it was previously announced back in December that Cavill would be championing a group of screenwriters to bring a Warhammer 40k project to live action, and he would be serving as executive producer. So what does Arch say, just as an FYI? So Arch's most recent update says Henry Cavill's influence is likely extraordinarily limited, if he has any influence in the matter at all at the moment. I can say that that's not true, but okay. He makes this conclusion given, quote, he doesn't have any employment contract with Amazon or Games Workshop, merely the promise that if the product ever actually goes through, he will have a role in it. I mean, he does. He is doing stuff. I can say that much for sure. So while Arch claims that there's been radio silence since the last update, he did provide some information on the negotiations. This is apparently what they say. Both sides have concessions. The female custodies thing, for example, was almost guaranteed. In my opinion, a move on behalf of Games Workshop to placate Amazon or demonstrate to them what would happen if they were to push for female Space Marines. Massive outcry. And to hammer it home to them, yeah, that's not going to be a very good idea. I mean, I don't know anything about this, but I can tell you that, well, I can tell you that Henry Cavill's working on it. Unequivocally. So Arch would say a little bit further and say, meanwhile, of course, Amazon has their diversity quotas, which they do have. There's no arguing about that. And they also want the Space Marines. They're not really interested in an Imperial Guard show, I'd reckon, because they're not the poster child. Even if an Imperial Guard show would be, well, 1, cheaper, 2, more easily relatable, and 3, goddamn, just make a movie out of Cyphus Cain. Goddamn it, Henry Cavill, Cyphus Cain would work so goddamn well. So apparently Amazon's concessions are, they did give Games Workshop the account access, for example, to flag various items on Amazon's websites, to take down things that Games Workshop were of the opinion were in violation of their trademark. I don't know anything about that. As for why there is current radio silence and no movement, Arch said it may be that Games Workshop got a little bit uppity and decided to demand that their own authors be allowed to create the screenplay. But there has been movement. There is movement. This whole statement here is predicated on it being correct that there's been no movement. There has been movement. So yeah, like unequivocally, there has been movement. Again, the Black Library authors are excellent book writers, but they have no business writing screenplays, and Amazon probably knows that, and Amazon probably knows it can't really afford another big flop here. So it says, right now, I would say that the probabilities lean more towards the entire thing being dead than it ever being greenlit. I can say that that is not true. I can say it's actually the inverse of that. But hey, look, I mean, it's still an interesting... It's interesting. And I'm not saying he's willfully... No one willfully... Well, some people willfully perpetuate fake rumours, but I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm just saying maybe he's got good, bad information. Yeah, there's definitely been movement on it. Definitely movement, like 100%. My eyes and ears, yeah, say that there's definitely been some movement. Can't tell you exactly what or how much, but it's the complete opposite of what's been going on with what Arch is rumouring. Anyway, it's the complete opposite of that. Let's put it that way. So there you go. It's definitely not dead, guys. It's definitely not dead. Yeah. I would imagine, just as an FYI, I don't know this, but I would imagine the fact that it ends in December is for the American financial year. Because obviously the UK's financial year ends in April, but American financial year ends in December. From what I know of how these things work, and this is not something which is being handled. This is a pretty, yeah, I would imagine it's that. I don't know, but I can say with certainty that there's been movement, and it's the contrary to what Arch is saying here. So let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Cheers, take care, bye bye now.